Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Steve Buors, CEO of Reshift Media, and I will be your host for today. I'm joined by Ken LeBlanc, who is President, CEO, and co-founder of PropertyGuys.com, North America's largest private sale real estate franchise network. Ooh, bit of a mouthful there, Ken. He's a visionary leader. I can attest to that myself, and absolutely a trailblazer in the real estate industry. Ken's dedicated over 2 decades to transforming how people buy and sell property by championing a smarter, commission-free approach. And beyond his role at PropertyGuys.com, Ken is absolutely a passionate advocate for entrepreneurship and franchising. He frequently speaks at industry events, contributes to thought leadership in real estate and business publications, and mentors aspiring entrepreneurs. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
So really good to chat with you here on Canada Day. So before we get into sort of you and your background, let's talk a bit about Property Guys. Can you share a bit about how Property Guys came to be?
Sure. I always kick off the history story or this founder's story of PropertyGuys.com with it literally was $100 and a good idea. I had the good idea. My co-founder had the $100, so it worked out.
I love it.
Then. Yeah. So 1998, little small town here in the East Coast, Moncton, New Brunswick. I was a full-time university student, taking business first year. And like any other student at that time, I was looking for an idea that could kind of change the status quo, make a few bucks, help me get through university. And at that time, it really felt strange to us that people, were paying tens of thousands of dollars in real estate commission. Never owned a house, had no clue why that would happen and why they would hire someone to basically be a home shower and then pay that big chunk of commission off to them. So at the same time, okay, this is 1998, this thing called the internet was born.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it. Eh? So this new idea, this internet thing, I said, hey, how about I merge this 100-year-old business called real estate where people are involved in transacting real estate, throw in some of this new age internet thing, put these houses on this thing called the internet, and give some of that control and process back to the home sellers. And that's how the idea was born. We opened up PropertyGuys.com in Moncton. We had about 200 or 300 for sale by owners, are called FSBOs at that time, that joined our platform. And early on, it was primarily just that, just a real estate, I wouldn't call it a platform at the time, but more of a bulletin board style website. Here's a listing of all the for sale by owners in Moncton. Because we knew one of the things they needed, Steve, at the time, was to organize themselves. Right up until that point, they would either go to Canadian Tire or one of the local hardware stores and put a sign in the front lawn for sale by owner, and then hope and pray that someone would drive by and see that sign. That's the only exposure they had. And then, like I said, the internet was born and it changed the game for us.
I love that. Well, and from those humble beginnings with $100, PropertyGuys.com is now a well-known national brand. So tell me, here on Canada Day, how does it feel to see a truly Canadian business grow to that level of success?
Honestly, it's pretty humbling, and traditional Canadian style. We're really, it's amazing, quite honestly, and we're very humble, considering like we started with recycle election signs. Like I said, the $100 didn't go very far, so our first signs on lawns were recycle election signs in a small office in Moncton. And like I said, today having that coast to coast, network of passionate Canadian-born and represented franchisees in large and small communities, coast to coast, makes us very, very proud. Like we bootstrapped. We were bold early on. We really disrupted real estate. And even today, we're still 100% Canadian owned. So pretty proud.
I love that. Well, and you mentioned a few things there about obviously franchisees and bootstrapping and entrepreneurial spirit there. Is there anything you'd add to that you think is a secret to your success that makes PropertyGuys.com so unique?
I think honestly for us, it's just being authentic. Who we are. It's our culture from day one. We have that Canadian culture about transparency, fairness. We embrace that here corporately at home office. Like you're not going to find we're not a typical franchise system, and nothing against the typical franchise systems that are networking and involve a lot of, obviously that tight process and systems in place. We are pretty much a startup location times coast to coast. So every franchisee has our unique flavor in their local communities. One thing about our business industry is real estate is very, very local. So it's imperative that our franchisees have that flexibility to be themselves and bring that character in. So I think that's what really kind of makes us really bold and different.
I love that. Well, so speaking of your franchisees, wondering, do you have any stories about a franchisee or a group of franchisees that you feel really, embodies that community engagement you were just talking about?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of them. Absolutely, they have that Canadian, that Canadian spirit, and like I said, we really thrive on owning the community, being part of the community. But one story of mine is a gentleman named Christoph Baer in Canmore, Alberta. Now, this guy moved from Germany with his family. Really had no connections, nothing at all, into a beautiful town in Canmore in the West Coast.
Yeah, beautiful area, Canmore.
It is, yeah. But he brought with him a very entrepreneurial mindset and basically, deeply committed himself into the community. He hit the ground running. He embraced our model, our culture that I talked about, and with a short term, a little period of time, he turned around basically a no-name brand in Canmore into one of the top franchise locations in the entire country. So he did it by building trust, supporting local events, embracing the people. He actually ran for mayor a few years back.
No way! Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so really cool. So he's like a perfect example of the right person with the right attitude who really strives in our system.
I love it. And Canmore is not that big, so to have that level of success there is fantastic.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me, Ken, what's the future look like for PropertyGuys.com in Canada and beyond, if you have aspirations for beyond?
Yeah, we do. I mean, obviously, we're really excited about the future. Real estate is one of those last major industries that's been, has yet to been truly disrupted.
Yeah.
Even though we have this national brand, we're still a small player, even in the Canadian real estate landscape. So I think that's coming. It's one of those businesses that takes a little more time. So as we keep adding, our franchise locations and little small communities and towns, and then we grab into metro markets, I think that shift will come, eventually. And when it does, it's really going to be the tipping point. Internationally, we're actively growing. We've launched in the US already, so we're pretty excited about that. So what's really cool about our model is that we can transform our model, our thoughts, our beliefs, our Canadian way of doing business any place now where residential real estate is. So we're really excited for that.
Amazing. I love that. And love hearing Canadian organizations growing internationally. That's always heartwarming, to say the least.
Thank you.
So obviously, one of the things I didn't mention off the top is that you've been involved with the Canadian Franchise Association for a very long time. So I think you're a great person to ask this question to, because I'm curious to hear what you think about Canadian franchising and where it's heading over the next few years. And if you have any advice to, young entrepreneurs who might want to get involved in franchising.
No, for sure. Well, first, as you said, I've been involved in the CFA for a long time, an amazing organization. As you know, I get to see you at the events and the conventions and stuff. And I can't say we'd be here today, even talking today, without the CFA. I remember our early days when we joined Property Guys. We didn't even have a franchise when we joined the CFA. We just wanted to embrace all the knowledge that all these other brands brought to us, and they welcomed us with open arms. And we gave back, because every minute I gave the CFA, I got 10 minutes back for our business. So it's been an amazing organization. So really want to thank the CFA, and I can't say enough about that organization. Where is franchising going, especially for young entrepreneurs? I think there's a lot of opportunity. They're tech savvy. These young people are very tech savvy. They're purpose driven. They want to be in control of their futures. I think franchising gives them that playbook, the support, the community to do that. That's what franchising is all about. So that's for us. What's really great about our model, not to give a self-promotion here, but we're definitely scalable. We're adaptable. We love that energy. I've got a great story about one of our former franchisees who we did a little Dragon's Den, just an internal one where we gave away a franchise, and we had 3 young entrepreneurs compete. This young lady finished second in that contest, was so upset. She called me the next day, says, what was it going to take for me to win my own franchise? We ended up gifting her a franchise location. She went on over the next 10 years, became one of the top performing franchises in our entire country. So it's stories like that I really, we embrace youth and entrepreneurship for sure. So it's definitely something that we're excited about. And I think that's across the board for any franchise network. I think they're definitely open to giving these hungry under 35-year-olds, and I feel old now saying that.
Right?
Girls, something's, an incredible opportunity. So, yeah.
What a great story, Ken. And I agree. I can hear the passion in your voice, first of all. And I agree with you. There's such an opportunity. You got a proven business model. You got built-in mentorship from seasoned executives such as yourself. Really good opportunity for young people to get, in business, as they say, for yourself, but not by yourself. I love that.
I agree.
Parting thoughts. So here we are celebrating Canada Day. Anything you'd want to share with Canadians about, pick your topic, entrepreneurship or franchising, what parting words would you have for anyone watching?
I think Canada Day is a perfect time to reflect on what makes our country so amazing, Steve, and it's that entrepreneurial spirit. They call U.S. the land of dreams. I think Canada's kind of kicking their ass in that, to be honest with you. So whether you're launching a startup or running a franchise or just choosing to shop locally, I think you could be really part of something really big here in Canada. So that's my parting thoughts.
I love it. I love the patriotism, and I love the fact that we're kicking butt. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, Ken. And for those of you watching, I really appreciate you taking the time. We hope that you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little something, and have yourselves a great day.
Thanks for having me, Steve.